So as of today, there's a brand new Nintendo Switch title that's available on eShop or at retail that you guys can go pick up, and I want to talk about the initial review scores and what people are saying about this game, as it is one that I am personally interested in. Then we have to cover the big patch that just got released for Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Switch, because if you guys don't remember, that game was suffering from huge issues out of the gate, and I want to talk about whether or not that patch addresses this. And then the big talking point for today's video is the continued momentum for this Nintendo Switch and the sales of the games overall. And I want to cover the new NPD data with you guys and talk about what it means for the future of the platform. What's up, nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. As I mentioned, guys, we are covering a few different stories today, the first of which is Cruis'b Blast and the fact that it is now available as of today on September 14th at the time of filming this video at either the eShop or at retail. And this is a game that I'm very much interested in, and I want to cover what is initially being talked about as far as the review scores go for it, because if you guys have seen many of my other videos when I've talked about this in the past, I'm not a big fan of traditional realistic racing simulator style games. However, I am a huge fan of the crazy arcade chaos style racers, and that is apparently exactly what Cruis'b Blast is. And there's a couple things that I want to point out, first of which it's kind of mixed review on Metacritic, as it did receive a score of 70 overall, which is definitely not bad, but it's not great either. But I do, obviously see some of the complaints that are being addressed with it, such as there is no online multiplayer, so you cannot play with friends through Nintendo Switch Online at all on this title. There's also no kind of leaderboard system, so it is really one that you will be playing for either single player or local multiplayer when you have friends over. And I will be excited to see some of that gameplay footage myself, but overall there's a lot of places that are praising it for just the fast, intense racing style gameplay it delivers on the Nintendo Switch. And some big points to point out is that whenever you play this game docked, it is actually 1080p 60 frames per second, which is, again, if you've been around on the channel, you know is a big deal to me, especially when it comes to anything like racing titles or games where you're moving fast. Just like that was actually one of my gripes about Sonic Colors Ultimate, is that on the Nintendo Switch version of the game, it only runs at 30 frames per second instead of 60. So luckily, Cruis'b Blast did figure out how to, utilize the same hardware in the Switch to make it run at 60 frames per second. And it does appear that this is a very smooth gameplay experience. And just from watching like the launch trailer that dropped today and all of the other gameplay trailers that we've seen, it just seems like a really fun throwback to what Cruisin' USA was on the N64, and then the different cruising games that were in and the arcade machines that I remember playing. So I'm excited to pick this one up. I'll probably go try to run out to a Walmart later on this afternoon and actually pick it up so I can play it later tonight. But I am, personally planning on, now that the reviews are out and the game is officially on shelves, I'm planning on getting this one. And I would love to know from you guys in the comments down below if you have any interest in Cruis'b Blast, and if you're planning on picking it up today at release, or if you're going to wait a little bit longer, maybe get it on a sale down the line, or if it's one that you're just not interested in at all. So please share all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below on Cruis'b Blast. Now, next up, we are talking about Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. And if you guys remember my previous videos around this topic, this was a game I was looking forward to picking up. Then I was initially let down that it was going to be running at 30 frames per second as opposed to 60 on the Switch hardware. And then it turns out that the studio by the name of Blind Squirrel, who has a terrible track record with ports of games to the Nintendo Switch hardware, is actually behind Sonic Colors Ultimate. And the initial review copies that were going out to people were just filled with bugs and glitches, and you saw some of the craziest type of like full-on texture disappearing glitches happening while people were playing this game, some of which were even seizure inducing potentially. So it's one of those things where, like, this was the first impression of everybody seeing Sonic Colors Ultimate Remastered come to the Nintendo Switch. And if you guys don't know, this was originally a Wii game, so the majority of the fan base will absolutely live on the Switch hardware, and it's a shame that they dropped the ball with that port of the game. Well, we didn't quite know how long it would take Sega to actually start moving the ball forward with this title and getting some patches out there to actually update the game to fix these problems, and it does appear that now the patch 1.04 version is out for this game. So if you are someone who already has this, or maybe you've been waiting to see if the glitches will be fixed before you're picking it up, as I had numerous people in the comments actually mention that they were canceling their Switch pre-order for this title after the initial reviews were going up and all of the glitch footage was spreading. So it does appear that some problems still happen after this patch, but as far as like the potential seizure inducing, like total texture disappearance and bright screen flashes and all of the unexplained craziness that was happening before has at least been addressed, and that seemed to be the main issue. But I will be curious to see, as this patch is still brand new, if there are still unfixed areas, as Sega did say there would be future patches coming down the line as well. And the other versions of this game, as far as the PS4 and the Xbox One version, did not have to receive any kind of patch at all, so it was definitely just dropping the ball on Blind Squirrel's part, and then Sega actually hiring them to make the Switch port and not going through any kind of intense Q&A process before it was released. And it's just a shame that a great port of a classic Wii title now has this stigma around it that the Switch version is the worst version. And then you also have to talk about the fact that even things like loading times take longer than they did on the Wii hardware, which was reading it off of a DVD as opposed to reading it off of a game card, which is significantly faster at transmitting data. So it just seems like one of those poor ports overall. I am still waiting to pick up this game. I do want to get it, but I'm very much leaning towards getting the PS4 version to play on the PS5 at this point. I may still check out the Switch port at some point, but I think I'll wait for a few more patches myself. But I would love to know from you guys if you have any interest in Sonic Colors Ultimate, if you have picked it up, and definitely let me know if you've experienced any of those glitches that were going around online, or if it seemed like it, you know, for your playthrough of the game, maybe it didn't affect you at all. And then let me know if you've noticed any changes since the patch 1.04, if you are somebody who has this game, or if you're not, let me know if, you know, you're somebody that will maybe now consider actually picking it up on the Switch, considering that it does appear that Sega is at least attempting to fix the title and not just leave it in a broken state. Now from there, I want to cover some NPD sales data with you guys, which does track the physical game sales in both the US and Canadian regions. And it does appear that we have some new information around what August best-selling consoles were, what August best-selling games were when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, and I want to share them with you guys. And first, we're going to start off with the games, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to post a wild guess in the comments down below before you watch this reveal. What do you think was the #1 best-selling game in August for the Nintendo Switch platform? So go ahead and comment real quick, and then we'll come back to it, because this is one that for me is like infuriating. So I'm just going to say the name of it right now. It's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and if you guys are holding out hope for Mario Kart 9, as long as the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe continues to sell as the #1 best-selling game month in and month out for the Nintendo Switch, we're not going to get a Mario Kart 9. So as somebody who's patiently waiting for this, because I picked up Mario Kart 8 originally on the Wii U back in 2014, you know, it doesn't appear that we're going to get a new Mario Kart installment anytime soon, because this game just continues to dominate sales, which is crazy to me. But of course, you know, that's probably not you guys out there going out and buying it. You probably have already owned it for years as the hardcore Nintendo fans, but apparently all the new players that are picking up Nintendo Switches, that's one of their first purchases that they always do. Now, the second game is of course reassuring to see, as it is Zelda Skyward Sword HD, which is the origin story to the entire Legend of Zelda series, and I'm super glad that we got that ported over to the Nintendo Switch. Why it's behind Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is kind of silly, but you know, at least it is out there selling at a very high spot on the charts. You then had Super Smash Bros. Ultimate continuing its consistent sales performance at #3, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is like a crazy seller overall. I mean, it broke 30 million already, and it was just out in March of 2020, so that's like a crazy huge successful title for Nintendo right there. Then you had Pokemon Sword and Shield coming in at #5, Super Mario 3D World at #6, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at #7, Mario Golf Super Rush at #8, Super Mario Party at #9, and then Minecraft at #10. So, you know, that's just kind of painting a picture of what games are moving the needle the most for Nintendo Switch revenue right now. And you know, it's just crazy to me. I wanted to point that out, that Mario Kart 9 may not be around the corner. Maybe we're just going to get more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. There was that recent data mine that happened that Mario Kart Tour had a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe folder in it for some reason. So maybe we're around the corner from some other new update or new content, at least to hold us over until we do get a Mario Kart 9. But as it appears right now, the Nintendo Switch continues to sell that title. So I would not hold out hope for Mario Kart 9 at this point. Now, the other big thing that came out of the NPD sales data is the fact that in terms of total units, the Nintendo Switch is still the #1 selling console. And in terms of total revenue, they did lose out to Sony, which obviously who are selling a $400 digital only PS5 or a $500 disc-based PS5, which is the dominant selling version of that console for them. So obviously they're coming out ahead in total revenue dollars, but when it comes to total unit sales, even with the announcement of the Switch OLED and everything taken into account, Nintendo is continuing to lead the pack in total unit sales. And you know, now we have like the new news that we talked about yesterday, that in the European and UK regions that we're actually seeing a price cut for the Switch base model ahead of the OLED model's release. And I am still patiently waiting to see if we're going to see that also translate here in the US. Maybe they talk about it at an upcoming Nintendo Direct, like we're still waiting to see announced. But you know, there's really no telling at this point if this will be a worldwide thing. I do think it will be. I think it'll probably be something that as we get closer to the holiday season, around maybe the Black Friday window, that we see that $50 come off. I mean, there's no telling for sure, but what does this do for overall console sales when you then have a dockable Switch that can be sold at $250 US? I mean, I'll be really excited to see the continued success for Nintendo on this. And again, we're quickly tracking to outsell the Wii, which up to this point has been Nintendo's most successful console of all time in terms of total unit sales. But then you do have to have that conversation of, you know, obviously we're in DS territory here too, because, you know, it is something that Switch kind of does something different, where it's probably one of the only home consoles that you'll see in a household have multiple consoles. Like all the kids in a family typically want their own Switch, and it does seem like it's one of those double dip purchases that doesn't happen with something like a stationary home console, because this does have that portable aspect going for it. And obviously you have things like the Switch Lite, which are handheld only, so it is a little bit of a different beast. But I do think that now that Nintendo is all merged together on this one platform, and we're continuing to see this momentum not slow down but actually increase, it is definitely going to be an exciting thing as a Nintendo fan to see what kind of games we're going to get around the corner. And I'm still holding out hope for that Nintendo Direct in September. I don't think that we're not going to see it. I think that we still get it this month. And, you know, I would love to know from you guys what games you hope we see Nintendo talk about and announce, especially with all the new info around how successful they are as a company overall. So please share all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below on everything we talked about today. Are you interested in Cruis'b Blast, and are you planning on picking it up today? What's your opinion overall with this Sonic Colors Ultimate patch? And now that maybe they've fixed some of the major issues, are you more willing to entertain the idea of potentially picking up this game? And then again, the big talking point is just around the overall sales success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is crazy to me. And then I would love to hear your guys' personal prediction around how the Switch is going to sell whenever we see that price drop hit, and if you do think the Switch price drop will hit here in the US as well, just like it did for the UK and Europe. So please share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you do leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's gonna do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.